Hey, welcome back to season 1, episode 2 of the In the Pit of Your Stomach podcast. How you doing? My name is Bruce McGee, and I am here to give you a little information today. This podcast, In the Pit of Your Stomach, is brought to you by First Note Productions. That is my company that I run all my audio and my videos through. Bear with me today because I am just learning all this video stuff and how to make videos. I'm well versed on the audio portion of this stuff. I have a couple of podcasts that maybe you've listened to, the Weathered Soul podcast and Bruce for Liberty, but I'm here today on video, giving you the In the Pit of My Stomach podcast. Now, what is the In the Pit of My Stomach podcast? The In the Pit of My Stomach podcast is a podcast about wellness. It's a podcast about entrepreneurship. It's a podcast about just all things that are considered that you feel in the pit of your stomach. I want to talk about diet. I want to talk about finance. I want to talk about all kinds of things. I really don't want to talk about politics here. I have another podcast for that, social media, stuff like that. That's not really in the realm of this thing. If you want that, you can listen to my podcast, and I can make you all angry over on the Weathered Soul podcast or Bruce for Liberty. But today we're here and we're talking about wellness. And there was a couple of things that I wanted to talk about that continued on from last week, which we had a really great show, an opening show with John Odermatt, and I'm going to have him back in a couple of weeks, and we're going to talk about some other interesting things that have to do with entrepreneurship. But today, what I want to actually talk about is what I've been talking about all week in the groups that I'm talking to on Facebook. If you don't know by yet, I am a Plexus ambassador, a silver ambassador. I just made silver, and it's a great feeling to be able to be involved in a company like Plexus. And what I am doing right now is that I got introduced to plant-based supplements and probiotics, but they're really Plexus is really a more broad company than that. I mean, they've got a lot of products. They started out as with the breast testing kit, and then they went into wellness and some other products. But what I wanted to get down to was I've had an interesting 2 months, and if you caught last show, that you know that I have battled acid reflux for a major part of my life, and especially in the last 3 or 4 years, it's been really bad. And I started what they call the triplex system, and the triplex system is a 3-part system with a drink, some cleansing additives, and then also a probiotic at night. And I wanted to get back to some of the stuff I wanted to talk about with this program that I was taking, because it's really important. I found out a lot of things about my body that I didn't know before. In fact, I did know them before, but I neglected them. And one of the things that we really neglect in our bodies, and let's just sit back, let's pull back just for a minute. We spend all our lives, especially me, I'm 60 years old. I've spent a major part of my life just abusing my body. And that's just, basically what it really amounts to is that it took 60 years to build what you see right here. And basically I wasn't feeling very good. And, with life's trials and tribulations that I've gone through, I've abused, just about every organ in my body, just about every joint and bone in my body has been busted, broken, or sore. And thank God for the situation that I'm in right now with Plexus. I mean, could be other companies, but Plexus got me first, and they came out with a couple of products that have just really eliminated my acid reflux, and I'm hoping for good, because right now I'm 2 months in and I haven't had any acid reflux that woke me up in the middle of the night in 2 months. And that's an honest to God's truth. But one of the things that I want to really talk about is that the fact of hydration, the fact that we need to get enough water. And it's really, really important. And I really never thought it was important. And I really never thought about hydration too much. But then I started looking at myself, and I started looking at the things that were happening. And one of the things that they told me when I got on the triplex plan is that you really need to hydrate. You really need to concentrate on it. And I went, yeah, whatever. And but what I had found out is that you go through a process called candida die-off. And candida die-off, what that is that the overabundance of yeast in your body, when you get on a plan like Plexus, is going to force your body to do a candida die-off. It's a yeast die-off. And what it's trying to do is just trying to balance out your body, the basic function of your body. And one of those things is that when it gets too much yeast, what's happening is it's blocking your nutrients and all kinds of other things that happen in your body to go forward. And if you can't absorb vitamins, minerals, and other supplements and stuff like that, well, then you're just passing them through your body. And that's one thing that's really good about hydration, because hydration is where it's at. I mean, here's a 24-ounce bottle of water. This is my third one today. I'm a little bit behind, but I'm trying to drink about 4 of these a day. I'll tell you later on about how much you need to drink every day, but there's a lot of things about water that I wanted to talk to you about. And the questions that I had for Plexus, because they're a really great support team. The team that I have below me and on top of me is just fantastic, full of information, full of support, all kinds of things. And you just really need to get into a situation where you have people around you that are able to give you that information and be able to share it with people. So one of the questions that I had for them, because we always argue about hydration. We know that we need to hydrate. We know that we need to drink water every day, or we need to drink liquids every day, whether that be water or milk or juices or things like that. Coffees and teas, they don't count, because most of those have a high amount of caffeine in them, and they're diuretics, which means that they're either they're just not good for you. They don't count as water. But juices, milk, and water itself, those are the key things that you need to keep in your body. And my question was to Plexus and the people that I was asking is the hydration for eliminating waste in your body, or is the hydration for retaining water in your body, the hydration in your body? And the answer was both are important. I mean, both those things are very important. And one of the things I learned with Plexus and the Triplex product is that we need the water for elimination. And that's why they ask you to drink plenty of water, because as you're going through this candida die-off, what happens is that all these toxins are being released in your body, and they don't make you feel very good. I just experienced this yesterday with the flu shot. Okay. Every year when I go get the flu shot, I'm going to go off topic just a minute, but every year when I go get flu shot, I'm usually good for a couple of hours that day. I'll go to bed that night. My arm is sore. They tell you to rub your arm and all that. That's all fine and dandy. But I woke up the next morning. I thought I felt pretty good. So I went out for my morning walk. I usually do 3 miles a day. I came back and went to work. Well, throughout the day, I knew what was coming. I knew that flu shot was gonna catch up with me, and I wasn't gonna feel very good. Well, by the end of the day, I wasn't feeling good, and I was hydrating a lot. But the whole fact of the matter is that there's certain things, these toxins that are happening in your body, and when you get this flu shot, what it's actually doing is even though it's a dead virus, a flu virus, what your body is doing is it's fighting that flu virus, okay, and it's making those antibodies that you need. And when your body is working overtime to make antibodies and stuff like that, it's releasing all kinds of stuff into your body. So when you hydrate, that's the best thing you can do, is to flush those toxins out. Keep flushing those toxins out and keep flushing those toxins out. But another important thing is that you need to hydrate, is not only because you need to flush those toxins out, you need to be able to keep some of that hydration in. And there's like 10 good reasons why to drink water. And one of them, and I'll show you right here on one of my screens here, is that 75% is in your brain. That's how much. It is 75% of your brain. And it regulates your body temperature. It keeps your skin young looking. It protects your heart. It helps you burn fat. And it prevents constipation. And it decreases fatigue. And it carries oxygen to your cells, and it flushes toxins out, just like I said, and it helps you control your calorie intake. Let me go through a couple of steps of those. So when you're hungry in the middle of the day, it's your body telling you, or a signal telling you that either your habit's telling you that you want to eat, or your stomach's empty, or something is going on that's triggering your body to say, I want to eat. Well, the best thing to do if you want to eat something, you're on a diet, what's better than drinking a little water? 0 calories, eliminates right through your body. Also, it flushes toxins out, just like we were just saying. And if your body doesn't have enough water in it, number one thing that it's not doing is it's not carrying sugars out of your body. And what happens to sugar when it just stays in your body and it has no way to get out? It turns to fat. So that's what it helps you burn fat, because you're pulling that sugar out of your body with a water molecule. It takes a water molecule attached to a glucose molecule to take that out. And it's very important that we do that. And it avoids constipation. Let me tell you, if you don't have the water in your body, you ain't pooping, and that's a fact. I mean, those of you who are constipated all the time, it is one of those things that is kind of paramount in what you need to do. It's a real serious situation. So a lot of us don't get a lot of hydration, and those are just some of the things I wanted to talk about with hydration. It's so important. So how much hydration do you need a day? So, well, you can talk to a lot of experts, but basically the basic fact is that if you weigh 100 pounds, you need to divide that by 2, which 100 pounds divided by 2 is 50. And that equals the number of ounces that you need a day. Now, this is a 24-ounce bottle. Everybody see that right here? I drink 4 of these a day sometimes. I try to do the best I can, but I drink 4 of these a day. That's about 96 ounces of water. Right now I'm about 220 pounds. So I need a little bit more every day, but I'm getting enough water. I mean, I'm not starving myself of water. I used to drink about 16, maybe 32 ounces a day, maybe a couple cups of milk at dinner time. The rest of the time was either coffee or, sometimes soda and stuff like that. I'm not really a big soda drinker, but I mean, I know in my heart that I wasn't getting the kind of hydration that I needed every day. So, thank God for Plexus. They got me on the right track. And these are the things that you need to do to start getting yourself in a situation to where your body can accept the nutrients and the probiotics and stuff that Plexus gives you. Now, I'm not going to sell you any Plexus tonight, but you're more than welcome to visit my website down there, down at the bottom. You just type in the search box in the pit of my stomach. And I give you all kinds of testimonies and information and stuff like that you can use for information just for yourself. You can get a hold of me if you want to try Triplex, which is the plant-based supplements and probiotics. It's doing wonders for a lot of people. I've got 4 wonderful ambassadors under me that I have turned on to Plexus, and I'm hoping they're all doing well. The couple that have gotten back to me said that they love it. I've got 2 more that have just started. I can't wait to hear that it's working for them. And it's just a wonderful thing that we've got going on. And I just love Plexus to death right now. I can't say enough about it. So going on to my second point is I want to talk about sugar. And sugar is another thing that's kind of, we never think about it. I mean, there's a lot of talk about it on the TV and such about, we should stay away from high fructose corn syrups and all these artificial sweeteners and stuff like that. It's very serious. I mean, sugar is a serious problem in our society, and a lot of things that we eat and drink and everything have just a ton of sugar. So I'm going to share a little graphic with you here. I said, did you know that a 20-ounce soda has more sugar than 18 Chips Ahoy cookies and 2 bags of plain M&Ms and 6 Krispy Kreme donuts? And I know a lot of people who drink sodas every day. Every single day, I see them with the soda in their hand. And it's just, when you're drinking that much, or when you're consuming that much sugar, just think about how much water you need to flush all that sugar out. And if you can't flush that sugar out, guess what it's going to do? It's going to turn into fat. And if it turns into fat, what does fat do? Well, it increases all kinds of things. It increases or it depletes your immune system. Number one, what it does, it makes you more susceptible to other diseases like diabetes, type 2 diabetes, uh, uh, just a myriad of different things. I mean, so what I've done actually in the last couple of years was probably, let me see, it's going on about 5 or 6 years that I turned to Truvia, actually a stevia type of sweetener. It's got a lot of what do they call it? Another kind of sugar in it, but it has stevia in it, and I enjoy it. I think it's really good stuff. Sucrose, aspartame, stuff like that, they're not good so much. They're really kind of bad for you. And everybody's just got to, everybody in this day and age has just got this sugar addiction, and it's just going crazy. Everything is just full of sugar. I mean, you look at a package and the first thing you see is sugar. That's what's mostly in it. I mean, take a snack cracker or anything like that and look at it. And if sugar is the first thing that's the ingredient, that's the most thing that's in there. I mean, they put them in a hierarchy. So if you get down to where you're eating some kind of a cookie or something, and it says sugar first, and you don't see anything, any ingredient besides all the scary other chemicals they use, and then they finally get to the wheat flour down about the middle of the page, you're not getting a bunch of good stuff. I mean, it's crazy. So the sugar addiction has a perpetual cycle. And first you eat the sugar and you like it, and you crave it, and it has an addictive properties, just like anything else, alcohol, food, anything. It all has an addictive properties that land in your head. And then your blood sugar levels spike. The dopamine is released in the brain, and your addiction mass insulin secreted to drop your insulin levels or your blood sugar levels. That's what they call the sugar crash. I don't know if you've ever done this in the morning. You go in on a Friday morning to the office, and somebody brought in some donuts, and you're just going like, yeah, I love donuts, because I love donuts on Friday morning. Tomorrow's Friday morning. I'm probably going to have a donut tomorrow. Probably not as big as I usually have, but I'm probably going to have one. It's kind of one of my things that I do because on this Plexus plan, I actually don't crave a lot of sugar anymore, but I do like a donut every once in a while, so I have one. But what happens is after you have that donut, you're full of energy, man. You're ready to go to work. Let's go to work and everything. And about an hour later, if you're feeling kind of, that's that sugar high going down. Your blood sugar drops. And when your blood sugar drops too rapidly, you get high insulin levels. It causes immediate fat storage. I mean, just like that, your sugar will turn to fat if you are not hydrating enough. And your body craves that lost sugar high. So what are you looking for? You're looking for more sugar. And then hunger and cravings, your low blood sugar levels will cause an increased appetite and cravings. And then the cycle is repeated. You just keep going round and round and round. So that's what sugar addiction will do to you. And it's like actually what any addiction will do to you. But I'm here to tell you right now that if you get on a plan like the plan that I'm on with Plexus, it's called Triplex. They start you off with a product called Slim. And Slim is how I first learned about Plexus. I saw John Odermatt, our first guest on here last week. He introduced me to Plexus, and I'm just thankful to him. It's an incredible journey that I'm going. But how Slim works is interesting because it was made by two doctors that got together, and they were trying to figure out a way to regulate glucose levels in diabetic patients. And they came up with this formula, plant-based formula and they just made this formula up, and they sweetened it up, and they just made it great, and it worked. It just worked. I can give you a video on it. All you got to do is go down there and type into that Facebook box in the pit of your stomach. I'll share that video with you. It's an incredible video. It'll tell you all about how Plexus works or about how Slim works. But I'm going to tell you how Slim works right now because I got a little graphic for you right here. And you got an unbalanced body, and you got an increased appetite, and you got high blood sugar. And 55% of increased risk of being overweight or obese due to sugar intake. So how Slim works is that it balances out your body. It decreases your appetite and it increases your energy and maintains a healthy cholesterol and lipid levels. And research shows that Plecix Slim may also regulate blood sugar. Well, the research is guaranteed research. It has been proven research already. So I just want to tell you, since I've been on there, my boss has had this candy bowl by his desk full of Hershey's Kisses, little miniatures, those Belgian chocolates, the whole bit. I love that thing. I was going by his desk probably 4, 5, 6, maybe 7 times a day, grabbing one chocolate, popping it in my mouth, never even thought about it. But the problem is that I was going through that sugar high. I was doing this. I was doing that sugar addiction thing. It was bad. And what I wasn't doing was I wasn't drinking water. Beginning to love water now. But the whole thing is that it's an addiction process. You need to flush those things out. Sugar is bad. It's really bad for you. But then again, I also asked the question, well, if we can't get away from sugar, if sugar's got to be a part of our diet, what's kind of the best things we can do? Well, first of all, you can go to like a monk fruit, which you can get, at Trader Joe's, Costco, a couple of different stores you can get monk fruit at. You can also get stevia. You can get a Truvia product like I get, any kind of stevia product that doesn't have any type of real sugar, sucrose, or aspartame in it. But we want to stay away from those sucrose, those aspartame. I think that's what they call it, aspartame, and high fructose corn syrup. That is the biggie right there. That is in everything. And I know that companies are making a huge advance into not doing high fructose corn syrup, but it's still in your food, and you need to be, it's really, really bad stuff. And the more you can get away with that, the better. So what happens if you can't get sugar? What happens if you can't get stevia or monk fruit or any other of the good sugars that you can get? Well, table sugar, I guess, would be cane sugar. I wouldn't say beet sugar, but cane sugar is probably your best bet if you had to have sugar. So, I mean, those are the things that, that are kind of the answers that I got. But really, for the most part, you want to keep away from refined sugar, processed sugars, high fructose, HFCs, I want to call them, and all those bad synthetic sugars that they've come out with. They're just really not good for you. And so that's about all I really have to say about sugars and stuff like that and hydration. I just want to encourage you guys just to, tune in. I've got a real special show next week. And it's going to be 2 of the women that are with me in Plexus. They're actually my uplines, and that's Nicole Olderman and Amy Morton. And we're going to talk about women's issues. I mean, this is, it's a guy running the show, but I mean, I really want to get to the core of a lot of things that happen, and women issues and Plexus kind of go together because there's a lot of symptoms that all of us have. I mean, there's inflammation, there's obesity, there's sugar cravings, there's all kinds of stuff that we suffer from, acid reflux, IBS, constipation, all kinds of things that actually these products can help you resolve. I can't make any claims. I can't make any medical claims that say that these things are going to solve all your worries. I'm not a snake oil salesman. I'm never going to be. And I wouldn't be sitting here talking to you, spouting the glory of Plexus products if I didn't know for myself that it works, because it really does work. So I'm going to bring on Nicole Olderman. I'm going to bring on Amy Morton next week, and they're going to talk to you about specific women's issues. And they got a whole bunch of things lined up. I can't wait for them to come. They're 2 great women. They're going to talk about all kinds of things too. And I just can't wait. And then 2 weeks from now, me and John Olderman are going to get back together, and we're going to actually talk about the dirty word of multi-level marketing and network marketing, whatever you want to call it. It's an evil thing. No, it's not really an evil thing. Plexus happens to have one of the best compensation plans out there for network marketing firm. I don't sell a thing. All I do is sit here in front of a microphone, in front of the camera, and tell you what I know. I share the things that I'm experiencing and I'm going through, and you get a hold of me. I don't knock on your door. I don't call you. I don't run you emails or anything unless you want to hear from me. If we're talking breaking bread or something together, maybe I'll bring it up, but I'm only bringing it up for the information to share with you. I'm not going to sit there and go like, you need to buy this, because you don't need to buy it. This is all up to you. Your health and your wellness is a personal issue. And one of those things that you have to get into your head is are you sick and tired of being sick and tired? And that's basically, I was sick and tired of being sick and tired. And so that's all I'm going to say really about the product tonight. But another thing that I was sick and tired of being sick and tired of was about 10, 11 years ago, before me and Tracy moved here to Gilroy. We were heavily in debt. And this is the part of the show, a part of the program, where I get to talk about other things that got me to where I am today. And one of them is financial health, because along with wellness, financial health takes away a lot of the stresses that we have. And these products from Plexus will take away stress. But the biggest thing that's going to take away your stress is you be financially healthy also. So years and years ago, probably 15 years ago, I started listening to a guy named Dave Ramsey on the radio. And some of you know Dave Ramsey, the financial guru, the financial success guy. But he taught me one important lesson. And that is that for your financial freedom, you have got to get your house in order. You've got to get that financial house in order. And I know right now it's tough. There's a lot of people out of work. There's a lot of people that aren't making money. There's a lot of people that are hurting right now. But believe me, 11 years, 12 years ago, when we started this plan, we were hurting. And we were hurting because we were buried in debt. And if you want to talk about not having money because you're working your butt off every day, and still at the end of the week, all the money is going out the door, and nothing else is working. So it was just as bad as not having a job. It was just as bad as this COVID thing. I mean, seriously, thank God. I mean, thank heavens above that my employer still has got us going on. We really haven't had a really bad COVID problem. My employer's just been a godsend to me. But a lot of you out there haven't been. But I want to give you a little bit of advice. There's something that I've been doing for about the past 11 years, and it's in this pink little envelope right here. And in this pink little envelope is what they call envelopes. And I want to show you some of mine today. And here's my envelopes. Every month, I'm taking them out right now. Every single month, I always take out. Oops. That was my mistake. I know John Odermatt did this on his show the other day. But these are a stack of envelopes. And these envelopes have money in them. Yeah. I don't have all my money in them, but I've got a considerable amount of money in them. Why do I have a considerable amount of money in them? Because it's so easy these days, because everybody has an ATM card. Everybody has a credit card. Everybody has a debit card. Everybody has this and everybody has that. Do you know how painless it is to swipe your credit card, to swipe your debit card? It doesn't hurt at all. Not one time does it hurt. I mean, you might think about, do I have enough in here? Or maybe that debit card said, no, you don't have sufficient funds to do it. But a credit card's even easier, because unless you have a high or not a high limit, you just keep going and going and going. So I've got one here. Here it is right here. Auto repair. You can see right there in auto repair, I put $100 a month in my auto repair. I have home repair. I have a home repair envelope. I have a medical and copay, my car registration, my flood insurance. Here we go. Flood insurance. I got my property tax. You name it. You can put anything that you want in an envelope. But the one thing that it does is that it keeps that money out of the bank. And I put this money in my safe when I'm not using it. And I only take it out when I need it. Because here's the fact. And here's one of the things that Dave Ramsey says. Christmas comes every year. Christmas comes every year. And what's happening when you go out and do your Christmas shopping? Even if you're doing it on Amazon, what are you doing? You're just charging that off. If you're not charging it to a credit card, you're just telling it to take it out of your bank account. So every year, nobody's saving for that Christmas fund. Guess what else happens every year? Your car insurance happens every 6 months, if not every month. Your car registrations come up. However many cars come up, that's how many registrations you got to pay. Even my pets, I even got an envelope for my pets, for them, because pets get hurt, pets get sick, pet needs shot, pets needs this. So what better way for you to be financially prepared that if you put money away in an envelope and then put that envelope away until you need it. Because if you keep just swiping your card, if you keep just draining your bank account, man, when it comes down to Fido needing a shot and you don't have it, what are you doing? You're running it off on credit and you're paying 25, 30%. Doesn't matter. Depends. I don't care how good your credit is. Okay, I got great credit. The problem is that I still have to pay Prime Plus. Well, Prime right now is pretty high, and then the Plus can be pretty high. So, Dave Ramsey says a lot of things about finances and stuff like that. He's not into credit cards and stuff like that, but I am into credit cards. So I do still have 2 credit cards that I use. Actually, I use 3 credit cards, but I pay them off every month. And it's just one of those things that I got into a habit of doing. But the most important thing is that you need to be saving. Excuse me. And the best way to do it, and I go into the bank. This is the funny thing. Here's a funny story. I go into the bank every month, and they know me, and they just look at me and they go, "Oh, Mr. McGee, how you doing?" And they know that I come in every month on the 15th, because on the 15th is when I come and get my money for my envelopes. And every time I go, they say, "How are you coming in for your envelopes?" And there'll be a new teller or something that's either next to them or not busy or anything, and they'll be kind of listening over, kind of wondering what I'm doing. And then I'll explain to them exactly what I do. And they go like, "Oh, that's a good idea." Or they'll mention, "Oh, my aunt or my cousin does that. I really want to do that. I really should do that." I've gotten that standing in line at the grocery store. I've got it standing in line at the DMV, because I take my stuff. I even use it for my golfing. So I've got my guys laughing at me. It's like, "Oh, he's got his golf envelope." I'm going like, "Yeah, well, I don't have to swipe my card, dude. I don't have to put it on my credit card. I save this all the time. I've got enough, golf money to golf a couple times a month. I only golf once a month, but I mean, I have the money. It doesn't hurt. It's not like it's coming out of my paycheck every month or my bank account, because I've got it in my envelopes." So one of the things that I want to do with this show is that these are the things that hit me in the pit of my stomach. Your financial security, your health and wellness, your motivation, your entrepreneurial spirit, the way that you act and serve your community. Those are all things that we're going to talk about here. And that's really all I have to really say today, because it's just so happy that I'd be able to launch this program, to be able to have you guys sit in and listen to me, just give you great information. I hope it's great information, and give you the opportunity to experience the same things that I've experienced throughout the years. It's a fantastic situation, and I can't wait to have Amy Morton, and Nicole Odermatt here next week. Don't miss it next week. It's going to be here 6 o'clock here on In the Pit of Your Stomach. Just type in your Facebook search page, In the Pit of My Stomach. It can take you right to the Facebook page. You can join. I'll accept you right in, and you can just join in on all the comments and all the information that I'm giving. You might even want to try Plexus yourself. I hope so, because I'd love to be your sponsor. And this is Bruce the Weathered Soul, because that's who I am, the Weathered Soul. And for best results, squeeze from the bottom up. You guys have a nice night. Good night.